Hi everybody, welcome everybody. कैसे हैं आप सब? I'm Rohindeep Kaur and I welcome you all to our official YouTube channel CLAT Preparation by ADA. Good evening to all of you, and I am back again with the information. ठीक है, जो आपकी सेल है, ठीक है, वो चल रही है यहाँ पे. अगर आप कोड यूज़ करते हैं RK19, यू आर गोइंग टू गेट बेस्ट प्राइसेस. ठीक है, डाउनलोड करिए आप करियर्स अड्डा ऐप को. वहाँ पे जाके आप क्या कर सकते हैं, आप हमारे महापैक को, चाहे आप 3 ईयर के लिए प्रिपेयर करें या 5 ईयर के लिए प्रिपेयर करें या लाइव बैचेस लेना चाहते हैं, यू गाइज कैन ऑप्ट फॉर दैट. गुड इवनिंग गाइज, गुड इवनिंग ऑल ऑफ यू. अच्छा, हम लोग क्या कर रहे थे? हम लोग कर रहे थे व्हाट वर वी डूइंग? कोई बताएगा मुझे क्या कर रहे थे हम लोग? मेरे हिसाब से तो assumptions कर रहे थे. We did assumptions and now I have come back with yet more questions of assumptions. ठीक है, एंड आप लोगों की सुविधा के लिए मैंने जो है वो नीचे एडमिशन और काउंसलिंग का जो नंबर है वो चला दिया, क्योंकि आपको अगर कोई भी दिक्कत आती है तो आप इस नंबर पे फ़ोन कर सकते हो. आपको बैच के बारे में पता करना है, आपको पता करना है कितनी क्लासेस मिलेंगी, क्या मिलेगा, क्या नहीं मिलेगा, एवरीथिंग, एवरी क्वेरी इज आंसर्ड ऑन दिस नंबर. ठीक है, am I audible, am I visible, am I audible and visible, am I audible and visible? If I'm audible and visible, do a quick like and share of the session. जल्दी से like और share कर दो सेशन को. ठीक है, और हम क्या करेंगे, हम जो है अपनी क्लास में जो है assumptions के क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे. we're going to try and solve assumption questions. ठीक है, फाइन. चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं सबसे पहले फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन के साथ. जस्ट अलाउ मी अ सेकेंड एवरीबडी, जस्ट अलाउ मी अ सेकेंड. ब्रिलियंट. चलिए, without much ado, let's start today's session. And the first question is on your screen. And kindly read this. I'll do this for you. And आज जो है, I'm not going to give you much time to solve the question. For those who are saying poll, I hope you recall the session where I explained you very clearly that I'm very technologically challenged. So थोड़ा तरस प्लीज़ अपने फैकल्टी पे, मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता है. ठीक है, एंड इट बिकम्स वेरी ऑकवर्ड. सो बेटर है कि आप मेरे को कमेंट्स में जो है बताते रहे. चलिए, हाय प्राची, शौर्य, जयथे, रियान, श्रेयशी, hello everybody, hello. Chalo, let's start. So the first question says that the state government plans to provide free Wi-Fi and again, disclaimer everybody, the level of questions in CLAT is going to be much higher than the length of the passage is going to be 450, because I've created a single liner question for you all, right? So the length of the passage is smaller, and one of the other reason that I do this is because initially I want to make sure that you guys build your logic. जब ये logic build हो जाएगा in each and every topic, then we are going to increase the length of the passage to CLAT level. ठीक है, तो every time I make sure that disclaimer is out there open. If you're preparing for CLAT 2027, this is not the length of the passage that you're going to see. The passage is going to be 450 words के आसपास. ठीक है. Hi Jaideep, how are you? चलिए, without much ado, let's start. And we were discussing that state government plans to provide free Wi-Fi in public libraries, arguing that easier internet access will encourage more students to use these spaces for study and research. This in turn will improve the overall academic performance of the students from economically weaker backgrounds. So the passage is asking, is letting me know about some Wi-Fi plans that government is going to provide in the libraries, and they're giving me reasons why it is important. What do they need from me? So they're asking which of the following is a necessary assumption. Which of the following is a necessary assumption? And as I recall, when I say assumption, it is clearly not my assumption that author is asking. It is the author's assumption. What is the author's belief? Arre wah, everybody is ready with the answers. Everybody is ready with the answers. Okay, let us check. So my first option says that students from economically weaker backgrounds do not have internet access at home. Okay. So they are what is the passage telling me? The passage telling me that this in turn will improve the overall academic performance of the student economically weaker. So the plan was free Wi-Fi in public libraries. The argument was easier internet access will encourage more students to use these spaces. So they never mentioned or they never talked about economically weaker background students not having internet access. They did mention that it is going to help in the overall academic performance of the students from economically weaker backgrounds. But they never mentioned that they did not have internet access at home, right? And that would be obviously a little extreme to think that this is the belief of author, right? Now let us look at option C. Why am I checking option C? Because all of you all are giving me option B as answer. So I need to check option C first. Public libraries are currently underused. No, there is no information regarding this. So if I say public libraries are currently underused, what am I trying to say? That maybe we are increasing what? We are increasing the number of people who use the public libraries. That is kind of a reason that they plan to provide free Wi-Fi, but they want more students to use this. So they never mentioned that they were underused. The libraries were underused. They're planning more people to engage and come and study, more students to come and study, right? But they never mentioned that it was underused. So option C is clearly not my answer. Free Wi-Fi will attract students from all income groups equally. If this was the author's assumption, would this person have mentioned economically weaker backgrounds, right? It would attract all the students from all different income groups. He has not mentioned that people from not economically background may not enter, or ऐसा कुछ नहीं बोला है. पर let me look at option B. So students who come to libraries with Wi-Fi will actually use the internet for academic purposes. So the entire reason for the government to give Wi-Fi in public libraries was to ensure that it encourages more students, right, to use these spaces for study and research, and in turn increase in the improvement in the overall academic performance. So if I negate option B, which is going to be the baseline if it is my assumption, if I say students who come in libraries with Wi-Fi will not use the internet for academic purposes, am I taking away the credibility of free Wi-Fi? Yes. So that means option B is my necessary assumption. ठीक है? Ma'am, you explained too much, है ना? I know. Yesterday I got an email and ma'am, you explain too much and you say that you explain like we're nursery students. I'm sorry. ये थोड़ा occupational hazard है. ये मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकती इसके बारे में, ठीक है? क्यों अभी मेरे को लगता है कि अगर मैं एक्सप्लेन कर दूंगी तो whatever possible problems जो आपकी होंगी वो clear हो सकती है. Okay, question number 2 everybody. Question number 2 everybody. A company wants to switch to biodegradable packaging, claiming that this will improve its public image and attract environmentally conscious consumers, which will ultimately increase its sales. So the argument of the company to switch to biodegradable packaging is that it is going to improve the image of the company, attract environmentally conscious consumers, which ultimately is going to increase the sales, right? The argument assumes that. What is the assumption of this argument? What is the assumption of this argument? Okay, we have different answers now. We have different answers now. We have Manu Sharma, Harsh. Okay, so all of you all. Acha, before we discuss this answer, before I discuss this answer with you, right? Can I ask you a question, guys? Can I ask you a question? Now, this is something that I wanted to ask yesterday as well, and I forgot. Um, do you guys understand the logic when I teach you? Do you guys like that? Okay, these are the easier questions, and it is building our logic. If that is the case, if you like the way I teach, if you like that you're understanding how all of these is going, can you please like the session? It will help me. It will help me. Honestly, it will help me. I'll understand what if my teaching is helping you. If you guys seriously like it, then please go and like the session. Okay, that is it from my side. Now let's come back to the question, right? The argument assumes that I'm sorry, right? But the point is, yesterday I went back to the video and I was like, oh, they loved the session. There were so many positive comments about it. But why did they not like the session? So do it. That will seriously help me, right? I'll make more of these classes. Okay. The argument assumes that biodegradable packaging is cheaper than plastic packaging. Acha. So while the argument given by the author explains that a company is switching to biodegradable packaging, the reason behind is to improve the image and attract more environmentally conscious consumers and increase the sales. Nowhere it is mentioned that it is cheaper than plastic packaging. So the first one is not my assumption. Okay, the first one is not my assumption. A significant number of consumers care about environmental issues when making purchases. Okay, so I think B is a good option. It is a good assumption. So can author assume, okay, could it be the assumption that significant number of consumers are going to care about the environmental issues while making purchases? So what are they doing? They're making a change in their packaging, right? Why are they doing it? Their premise, their reason is that they want to improve public image, attract environmentally conscious consumers and its sales. So if they want to attract environmentally conscious consumers, there must be a significant number of consumers. So if the number is not significant, if I negate it, there is, a significant number of consumers do not care, right? So the number is not significant. So if it is not significant, would I make a change to attract these people, which in turn are going to increase the sales? It is not going to make any sense. So if I negate option B, it is going to take away the credibility of the argument of the company. So I think option B is going to be my answer. Okay? Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Chaliye. Question number 3, everybody. Assumptions. Question number 3, everybody. A university plans to introduce an online feedback system for courses, arguing that easier feedback collection will help identify teaching problems more quickly and thus improve the quality of education. Which assumption underlies the argument? Which assumption underlies the argument? This one is super easy for you all. This one is super easy for you all. University plans to introduce an online feedback system for courses, arguing that easier feedback collection will help identify teaching problems more quickly and thus improve the quality of education. Are they doing this because they assume students currently do not give any feedback at all? I think this is extreme. Okay? Why? Because I'm saying students do not give any feedback at all. So this is what? An extreme assumption. How can I assume that nobody is giving me any feedback? What they're doing is they're saying that it will be easier to collect the feedback, right? And It does not mention that currently there is no feedback, right? And again, ma'am, assumptions are not, they're hidden, right? They're quite obvious. So if I say that students do not give any feedback at all, that is my assumption. It would be quite obvious from the passage or the argument. Teachers will be willing and able to act on the feedback received. Okay, so let me negate option B. Let me negate option B. I say teachers will not be willing and will not be able to act on the feedback received. If they're not going to do anything about it, why are you even introducing the feedback system? So that argument, right? If you say that they're not going to act on it, so what are you saying, right? You're saying that ultimately the reason that you wanted to introduce an online feedback system to improve the quality of education is not going to work. So B looks good to me, but let's check C and D. Online systems are cheaper. It does not really matter, right? All students makes it extreme. So clearly option B is going to be my answer. Option B is going to be my answer. Very good, everybody. Very good. Jayate, what is happening? Do you have any doubt? Question number 4, everybody. Do you have any doubt? Acha, if anybody wants me to repeat in Hindi, I can do so. Because these classes are supposedly, this channel is obviously for the CLAT students. So I want everybody to be able to understand English. But if you want me to speak in Hindi or translate something into Hindi, I'm going to do that. There are days when I'm speaking in English and Hindi both. There are days when I think that you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say, right? Then I only speak in English. If you want me to repeat in Hindi, I'll do that. Okay, brilliant. Now, question number 4, everybody. The question number 4 is the city plans to restrict private cars in the city center on weekends, arguing that this will reduce noise and air pollution and make the area more attractive for pedestrians and tourists. So, they are doing so to make sure that it is more attractive for the pedestrians and the tourists. Okay, fine. What is the argument? What is the assumption behind the argument? The assumption is clearly that people will shift to other modes of transport instead of simply avoiding the area, right? If people will not shift to other modes of transport, right, what are they doing? They're restricting private cars in the city center on weekends, right? So if I say the assumption behind this argument is that most pollution in the city comes from the private cars. It clearly is not. They're only saying that we're going to do that on weekends, and we're going to do this because we want to make it attractive for pedestrians and the tourists. That is the reason. Right now, pollution is not the main cause. It is one of the causes. It is going to help in the noise and the air pollution reduction. However, it is not the main cause. Tourists prefer quiet places over busy ones. Okay, I do not know about the preference of tourists. All I know is that if you restrict these ones, right, there will be reduction in noise and air pollution. That will in turn make it attractive. So no preference can be assumed from this argument. Shops in the city center will support the decision. Does not really matter, right? It is about people who have private cars, right? So option B is going to be your answer. Brilliant. No Hindi. I just wanted to make sure that all of you all understand, right? Question number 5, everybody. Question number 5, everybody. A school proposes to start classes later in the morning, arguing that students who get more sleep are more attentive in class and therefore perform better academically. Later in the morning, they want to start the classes, and the argument is based on the fact that students who get more sleep are more attentive in class and therefore perform better academically. Ma'am, we're going to do this because currently students sleep too much. If they're currently sleeping too much, why do they need more sleep? Right? Ma'am, teachers prefer teaching later in the day. Clearly, I am telling you that it is about the student. I know I want to sleep more, but this is not about the teachers. Right? Academic performance depends only on attention in the class. Now, the word only is making it extreme. It is only dependent on the attention in the class. No, it is too extreme. Now, clearly option B is my answer, because if the school, starting the school later will actually result in students getting more sleep. Right? So when you're going to say, okay, हम school थोड़ा late शुरू करेंगे, तो बच्चे actually थोड़ी ज़्यादा sleep ले पाएंगे. ठीक है? Fine. Brilliant. Yes, D is extreme. Okay, Akshat coming from the real ID today. Akshat coming from the real ID today. Question number 6, everybody. Question number 6, everybody. A government department plans to digitize land records, claiming that easier access to records will reduce disputes and speed up property transactions, thereby improving overall efficiency in the system. A government department plans to digitize land records, claiming that easier access to records will reduce the disputes and speed up the property transactions. Thereby, it will improve the overall efficiency in the system. Okay, now the argument assumes that, what do you think? Okay. Current land records are completely inaccurate. No, there's nothing that mentions option A is clearly very wrong and extreme, right? People will trust and use the digital records instead of relying on informal methods, right? Now, a government department says that they're going to digitize the land records. So, clearly they are assuming that people will trust and use the digital records, right? And that is why they're doing it, right? Okay, B looks good to me. Let's check C and D. Digitization is cheaper than maintaining paper records. I have no idea about the cost of doing so, so I cannot mention anything like that. Property disputes are caused only by missing documents. How do I know how these disputes are being caused? So that will also be a very wrong assumption. So B is going to be my answer. Harsh, I am sorry. ठीक है, आई एम सुपर सॉरी, इस लेवल के क्वेश्चन तुमको एग्जाम में नहीं आएंगे. यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू गेट दिस लेवल ऑफ क्वेश्चन. द ओनली रीजन वी आर डूइंग दिस इज again I want to make sure that you know what an assumption is and how can you find that. Now in exam, length of the passage is going to be more, right? And the options are going to be closely related. We are going to do those questions. But a little later, because we have enough time. We're going to make sure that we are working on our accuracy first. We're going to increase our reading speed, and we're going to make sure the level of the questions is going to get difficult as we keep on solving these questions. Okay, question number 7, everybody. Sorry to break your bubble. इतने easy questions नहीं आएंगे. इतने easy questions जो है वो नहीं आएंगे. Question number 7, everybody. Question number 7, everybody. Have I not? Have I not? Sorry श्रेयसी, मैं भूल गई होंगी, मैंने बनाई थी वो फाइल. आई एम सॉरी, I'll check. लेकिन मैं आज शेयर नहीं कर पाऊंगी बिकॉज आई हैव बैक टू बैक सेशंस. कल पक्का I'll share बिकॉज कल संडे है ना, कल I'll have some time. कल I'll share. A company decides to offer free skill upgrading courses to its employees, arguing that better trained employees will work more efficiently and thus increase the company's competitiveness in the market. ठीक है, तो कंपनी क्या कह रही है, कहती है हम जी आपको फ्री स्किल अपग्रेडिंग कोर्सेज देंगे, अपने एम्प्लॉयज को बोल रही है. ठीक है, और उनका आर्ग्यूमेंट ये है कि व्हेन यू आर बेटर ट्रेन्ड, व्हेन यू हैव बेटर ट्रेन्ड एम्प्लॉयज, राइट, इन टर्न यू विल वर्क मोर एफिशिएंटली and ultimately it will increase the company's competitiveness in the market. Okay, so which assumption is necessary? The necessary assumption would be something जिसको मैं negate करूँ और मेरा जो सारे का सारा argument है वो खराब हो जाए. Employees currently have no useful skills. If I say employees currently have useful skills, then why are you upgrading their skills, right? Employees will apply the skills they learn to their actual work. If I negate this, it will say employees will not apply the skills they learn to the actual work, which basically means if they are not going to apply, then why are you even providing them free courses to upgrade their skills? So clearly B is a good option. The moment you negate B, it takes away the credibility of the decision, and that is your answer. Question number 8, everybody. आयुषी, ये देखना नहीं है, ये देखना नहीं है, ये देखना है. Thank you, by the way. I'll take that as a compliment. I'll take that as a compliment. A city plans to introduce separate waste collection for recyclable and non-recyclable materials, claiming that this will increase recycling rates and reduce the amount of waste sent to landfills. Actually, they should do so. One day आप जो है recyclable चीजें लेके जाओ, second day आप non-recyclable लेके जाओ. अच्छा, how many of you, I am going to take this chance, how many of you actually make sure that recyclable and non-recyclable goods or dry or wet waste at least is separated? If you're not doing that, ठीक है, if you're not doing that, please do so. You are the next generation who's going to help us. ठीक है जी, ठीक है, चलिए. Question number 8, everybody. So a city plans to introduce separate waste collection for recyclable and non-recyclable materials. Okay, so argument assumes that. So I think author assumes that people do not care about recycling at all. So the moment I say at all, am I making it extreme? है ना अक्षत? अक्षत का favorite. Akshat, the first thing Akshat does is, ma'am, I'm going to take away the extreme options, right? Okay, brilliant. I do that even, right? And I think when people come to me and say, oh, how does it matter? It matters to me, and I think if people like me are going to increase, ultimately we can make sure that the recycling rates increase, right? I'm sorry. That is it about my TED talk. Let's come back to option B. Citizens will follow the new system and sort their waste properly. So when the author is saying that a city plans to introduce separate waste collection systems, I think that person believes that the citizens will follow the new system, because if I negate it, if I say citizens will not follow and the new system and not sort their waste properly, then there is no reason for doing this. If I say the citizens are not going to do this, there is no reason of the city, for the city to plan the separate waste collection system, right? So then they do not have to do it. So only if the citizens will follow, this will work. And clearly option B is your answer. Recycling companies will pay, I have no idea. Landfills are almost full, I have no idea. Harsh is saying, ma'am, आप daily class नहीं लेते? Yes, my class is on Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays, right? So there's a reason for that as well. ये frequency increase हो जाएगी थोड़ी देर के बाद. See, the reason is you guys are preparing for CLAT 2027. तो हम लोग अभी थोड़ी सी frequency कम रख रहे हैं. We will increase the frequency once जो हमारे CUET PG के exams हो जाएंगे, MHCET 2026 के कुछ exams बाकी है ना. तो आई एम श्योर यू फॉलो अवर अदर यूट्यूब चैनल एज वेल, ठीक है, लॉ एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स बाय अड्डा. तो वहाँ पे जो है राइट नाउ फ्रीक्वेंसी थोड़ी ज़्यादा चल रही है. सो आई एम गोइंग टू इंक्रीज द फ्रीक्वेंसी. बस अभी थोड़ा सा हम उधर ज़्यादा क्लियरली दे नीड अस अ लिटिल मोर, राइट, एंड विल इंक्रीज द फ्रीक्वेंसी अ लिटिल आफ्टर. ठीक है, चलो. मैम बी इज लाइक इन्फ्रेंस. हाँ, नॉट इन्फ्रेंस, नो 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 नो, इन्फ्रेंस तो नहीं है. क्या है, क्या चेक करने दो. सिटीजन्स विल फॉलो द न्यू सिस्टम. नो 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 नो, 100% नहीं पता चल रहा ना. आप 100% देखो बाबा. इन्फ्रेंस क्या होता है? इन्फ्रेंस होता, अजम्पशन क्या है? अजम्पशन क्या है? ये है ऑथर का बिलीफ, ठीक है, फाइन. और आपका जो इन्फ्रेंस है वो है आपका 100% लॉजिकल डिडक्शन. मतलब ये तो मेरे को अगर मैं बोलूंगी कि सिटीजन्स विल फॉलो द न्यू सिस्टम एंड सॉर्ट देयर वेज प्रॉपर्ली, ये 100% ट्रू होना चाहिए. मेरे को 100% नहीं पता ना भैया कि सिटीजन्स फॉलो करेंगे ही, ठीक है. ये तो ऑथर सोच रहा है, ठीक है. सो देन इट इज नॉट इन्फ्रेंस. हर्ष, तो आप रिपीट भी तो कर रहे हो ना. एंड आई थिंक आई स्टार्टेड द क्लासेस इन जनवरी ओनली, दिसंबर, आई थिंक दिसंबर एंड आई स्टार्टेड. ठीक है, हाँ. ठीक है, चलो. आई एम गोइंग टू मीट यू गाइज इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास, राइट. बट इफ यू कम अक्रॉस एनी डिफिकल्टी, ठीक है, आपको ऐप के रिलेटेड कोई प्रॉब्लम है, आपको कुछ भी समझना है, ठीक है, एज यू कैन सी हमारे जो पेड बैच स्टूडेंट्स है वो भी यू नो कमेंट यहाँ IT पे भी आते हैं. दे आर इन द पेड बैचेस एज वेल, राइट. सो अगर आपको पेड बैच लेने में कोई भी प्रॉब्लम है, यू कैन कॉल ऑन दिस नंबर. इट इज 0844898027, राइट. एंड हर्ष, फॉर यू बच्चा, अगर आप क्लैट 2027 के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, ठीक है, तो आई हैव समथिंग फॉर यू ऑन अवर अदर यूट्यूब चैनल एज वेल. तो अगर आप आज शाम को 7 बजे वहाँ पे आओगे तो हम सब फैकल्टीज आपको कुछ बताने वाले हैं. आई थिंक यू आर गोइंग टू लाइक दैट, राइट. तो आप उधर भी आ जाओ एंड वी आर गोइंग टू गिव यू अ सरप्राइज टुडे, ठीक है. चलो मैम, फिर क्यों करा रही है? क्या क्या करा रही हूँ भाई मैं? भाई पढ़ाना तो जरूरी है ना भाई, क्या कुछ भी